say that with.
Richie.
That's awesome. Really, honestly.
Yeah, it's really remarkable.
When you think of what you've gone through,
Yeah.
I was saying to my daughter last night that I have 10 grandchildren and all 10 of them have gone through high school and all 10 of them have gone to college.
All right.
Wow, that's awesome.
And that, yeah,
That's
it's
awesome.
kind of a really, Tammy said, I never looked at it that way. I said, well, that's because I'm another generation, so I can do that.
Yeah.
I said, but it's really pretty fascinating.
Yeah,
It's very fascinating.
You did something right.
absolutely.
Madam Secretary, do we have a quorum? Then we're gonna call, I'd like to call this meeting to order.
Awesome.
Do we have
Okay.
anybody on, in Zoom? Yeah.
Can you tell? Do we have any Zoom people? Can we tell?
Yeah, I could tell there's somebody who's
Oh,
trying to.
okay.
Eleanor can't come today, they're away.
Oh,
Not,
Eleanor, you're here.
Yeah,
no,
Eleanor's-
I don't.
Are you truly here?
Taffy.
Taffy Nothnagel and her husband are away through Thursday, so she won't be here. Okay, did everybody have a chance to look at the meeting?
Can I ask, can I ask you a question? Can Taffy vote later on? That's a question
No.
for you.
No.
She can't vote, okay.
I wanted to change it. Taffy alerted me that she did not come to the last meeting, and I
Right.
think she was in there, so
Put that in.
take her off, okay?
Well, with that in mind, you were here at the last meeting, right? But whoever was the secretary must have missed that, so I'm sorry.
Oh, I wasn't voted on that.
It's okay.
Yeah. Okay, can we have the
I'll
I'll
treasurer?
still get paid though, right?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
good,
You get double because you're not on the list.
excellent.
That's it. Union rules.
And Elaine, can we do a treasurer's report?
Oh, sure. I thought we were doing director's report first today,
Oh, I
but
didn't.
it doesn't matter. I always think mine is
I think,
more important.
all right, well, I do have good news to share, so that's
That's
great.
That's what you were waiting for.
Here, let's start with this.
$1 million.
I wish I could share that news, but that will not be happening.
Mine's same old.
Thank you.
Okay, so you may all have noticed when you walked in the center today, Patty Smith is at the front desk. Patty Smith is a longtime volunteer with us. She's been with us since when we were in the communities building
Yeah.
as a van driver. And she took on the position of services assistant. So
Great.
we're so happy to have her here. She's wonderful.
She can do the full 19 hours.
Yes, indeed. Yep.
Good.
So she's going to be fabulous. The other thing we're working on, and I wish Paul was on because he's also aware of it, is the pergola. So from the Massachusetts, we talked about it last month, $25,000 from Senator O'Connor's office. He had it written into the budget for senior centers. And so we decided to do an outdoor structure. Have a pergola outside. We're kind of getting some ideas about price and all. So we're hoping that's going to work, but I did get the approval from the state that the half of it, 12,500, will be sent along so we can get things started. That's
Okay.
what we choose to do with it.
This is
But-
gonna be a freestanding,
Freestanding pergola, so we can
Okay.
have more outdoor programming
Uh-huh.
and activities without having to put the tent up. That's why we did not put the tent up yet. So I think that'll be a nice addition. It looked pretty, and apparently that was one of the original structures that they had planned on doing, I
Mhm.
guess, from the building out. That was, but now it's going to be a freestanding. Depending on the prices, I'm hoping to get that entire patio
Oh, wow.
covered, yeah.
Terrific.
Yeah, so are you doing a pergola in that it's open space or are you doing a cover?
Excuse me, he says, oh, you are here? Paul, I don't see you. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me at all?
No. You're in.
Hello, hello, hello.
We just can't see you.
Okay. Can you hear me at all?
Yeah,
Oh,
good.
okay, okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm traveling, back from Pittsburgh.
Oh,
Yeah, we
Okay.
didn't know, on funding the pergola, we wanted to see all the funding that we could get prior to coming to the board to see if there's additional funding that we would want to raise or use out of the gift account.
Right, so that's something that we'll have to, once we get the price, we'll have to look at that and find out. I'm hoping perhaps Social Service League might want to give us some of that funding for it. Otherwise, we do have plenty of money in the gift fund, which would have to be.
Any
approved by Chris.
ballparks on what you think the price is gonna be?
One of the prices I'm getting, it's approximately about 40,000.
Oh,
Wow.
when
be
we,
wet bar too?
Unlimited.
music on Wednesday nights, I mean,
Right. Yeah. Remember, we investigated putting the
yes.
rollout shade.
Yes.
Spoke with Evans about doing that.
Oh, you-
Got an estimate.
Okay,
Yes.
do you know,
And, you know, I saw it recently. I thought I had it right here, but I don't. But I believe it was over 25 grand.
Yeah.
It was
For a
very,
rollout shade?
yes.
Oh, yes.
Electric,
Electric,
electric rollout,
Yep.
yeah.
rainproof, you
Some
know.
fancy shade.
And
Yeah.
It
rainproof.
is.
well, we
That's
also
why I'm
have-
asking you about the pergola, because that won't be rainproof.
Right, so there is a cover that we can put, we'd have to purchase it separately, but you can buy a cover that goes, that rolls out and rolls back in again, so we
Okay.
can do both.
Yeah.
And that's the point of it, I wanted it to be, so that sometimes the tent is just so chilly, it's cold under there, even if it's a nice day, because then nobody will sit out there, because then they're like, oh, I can't eat out here because I'm chilly, even though the sun is out, it's just not warm enough under there. So with the pergola, if we can roll out the cover and roll it, we can be more,
Yeah, so if it's rainy or
versatile.
misty, you can put the cover on. Yeah,
and people
okay.
can still sit out there, exactly.
Hmm.
And we did get a awning guy come out as well, because that was one of the ideas that we were kind of percolating around. But facilities does not like that idea. They don't trust the fact that it's not going to break constantly, or it's not going to, the wind is not going to take over. So we want to do something, because they would be the ones having to fix it or find something about it. So they really like the idea of the pergola. Chris Senior did approve looking into this structure, so
Well, 40 grand, it should last forever.
it should.
Yeah.
It's gonna be nice, really well made, yeah.
So it's not just being considered, it's a done deal, is what it sounds like.
Well, when I say considered, we don't know what the final price is going to
Yeah.
be. We don't know who's going to be building it, so the consideration is it's still in the air as far as I had to get it approved by Chris Senior to say, that's what we'd like to do with this money. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Approved as far as that goes.
And we still have formula money too. Do we, maybe that would be
And maybe
a
that would-
source as
That
well.
would be, well, so now we're jumping over to the formula grant money. I'd rather not use that money. I want to put that towards the kitchen coordinator, which Chris also did approve us
Oh,
to be
great.
able to spend
Oh,
formula grant money
finally.
for
Oh.
that. So we'll start searching for somebody who's going to be able to kind of oversee the kitchen, oversee the volunteers, any questions that the volunteer chefs might have, any kind of, maybe, I don't know if there's any dietary questions, but somebody who can make sure that we have enough of the basics in there as well. Just keep us organized and efficient in there. So we'll start that hopefully for July 1st if we can find somebody, but that will be spent with other formula grant money. So I'm going to need all that I can get.
How did we do on breaking even on that?
Breaking.
The meals?
We do really good. We're almost right down to we're going to exhaust all of our congregate mail funds by June 30th. So
Okay,
it's still a little bit more, but we try to keep it around $5 a mail, but as you know, no, and anymore, that's not $5. You can't do anything.
Well, lunch is 4 still, right?
Lunch is 4, but we try to then say to the chefs,
Subsidize
keep
them,
it around $5, but
Right.
it's usually $7 or $8 by the time everything's said and done. Which it helps through the revolving fund, and also some of the chefs don't charge us, and some of the,
That's,
charge us
that's
a
what's
lot.
happening a lot. A lot of the chefs are subsidizing their own meals to keep it to that.
really?
We
Or
should,
try to feed somebody for $4, a
Right.
nice meal.
I
Yeah,
tried,
And
but
you
I
go grocery
couldn't do it.
shop.
right,
right.
right,
Yeah,
and
I
we
agree.
don't want that, and I
Want
did
that.
not realize, I've got. a
Right,
lot
we
of
don't
the-
want to make the meals crappy just because
Right.
of the
Right.
price.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Make people feel that they have
Yeah.
to subsidize because there's plenty of funding.
Absolutely.
Oh.
I've
Revolving.
Yeah, and I get the receipts from the volunteers chefs that we pay out of. So if there's anything else that they don't give us, I'm not aware of that. I
Right.
just know that some chefs will say, oh, no, it's, I'm not charging you at all, or this is on me, or like the Pizza House, they never charge us. So those are the kind of things. But if there is any, and Jim, you included, or any of the other chefs that are subsidizing, please, I do not want that to happen.
Yeah, well, that message probably needs to get out there more clearly, because
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people know that that's the attitude about it. I
Oh.
think there are people that are paying for things themselves on occasion, not all the time, but every now and then. So that might be a good thing just to let them know.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you.
I will pass that along to them.
Please pass along and let, that was something I
Well,
was
we,
not aware of.
we brought it up, I think, last meeting, or maybe 2 meetings ago, about coming up with a program where we could offer for a fixed price, let's say $30. You have chits that get you into all the different programs, the exercise programs and everything else, plus the meals. But with some advantage, like let's say it's $20, you get the $5 is for the individual activities. So you get 4 of those plus 2 free meal chits too. And I think that would be a good idea for people that use the center a lot. But I don't know how that would be implemented. What do we do? I mean, we can't give them a card and then have you guys somehow punch the card. I don't know how that would work.
Right.
Or we give them individual chits for $20 and,
And they use that.
4 or
when they come
$5
in.
chits and 2 $4 chits.
Yeah,
Something
yeah,
like
it
that.
is. And it is going to be tricky trying to figure out
Yeah.
how that would work, what they can spend it on, what's best. I don't know if it is a punch card. Obviously, we could get a punch card and get a puncher. We could do that. It's just a matter of tracking it, that we'll have to figure out.
I mean, do we think that's a good idea to try to offer an incentive?
It's a good idea. It sounds cumbersome.
Yeah, that's
How
what I
to
mean. I don't know how to implement
Yeah.
that. So,
And it's not like we're doing $20 classes. We're doing $5 and $4
Yeah.
events. So
but I
it's,
mean, I would think people come to several events.
oh, I'm sure they do,
Yeah.
but it's not hard to pull a $5 bill. I mean,
Well-
and if there's funding available. Nancy has always said, if you can't afford to come here, let us know.
Right.
But nobody would do that.
Well, I don't know.
Well, for lunches, we do
Oh,
have.
okay,
I was just gonna say. they do.
Oh. Okay.
I would think.
Maybe it's not an issue then.
Mm,
Yeah, I don't think that's what's stopping people from coming in, honestly, to get a cup of, by saving, 2 classes a month, maybe $10 a month, maybe. But
Mark
from
Street
everything,
Pump up when it was free, the activity.
right.
But it stayed consistent, didn't it, after that?
It did.
was a
So,
lot
That
of
was not the,
retention.
that was
Yeah.
really
Okay.
concern. And
That
every
would-
time we have sent out surveys and come back and asked the question, do you think that $5 is reasonable for the class? And every person said, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Because they all know what it is if they go by
Yeah.
themselves to
Right.
these places.
Yeah.
It's
Or
like-
go to Situate, $10 for a yoga class.
Is
in
it over
Situate.
there?
Yeah.
Really?
Wow,
Yeah.
really?
Does that all go to the instructor?
I don't know how they disperse
doubt
it.
Yeah.
The other thing we were thinking too is because of the cost of food and the additional time and price to pack it in September, maybe having the meals for the to-go meals go up to $5. And
That
keep
makes
them.
sense.
that makes
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot of
I
sense.
have no
Dining
problem with that.
Because we're still
Package.
encouraging more people to come into the dining
Right.
room. And that's what we want. So we want to keep that pretty level so that nobody would say, oh, I'm not coming because it's, more. But for the to-goes, which are getting popular, I think $5 is, so we'll be
Yeah.
requesting
And
that.
there
in
should be some
September. Okay, I'm
differentiation.
glad
I
you
mean,
all
we,
agree.
at the Legion, we
Right,
used
I
to have
agree.
Wednesdays where we had lobster rolls.
Oh,
And it was $9 if you stayed. It was $11 if you took it to go.
Yeah.
But we had other reasons for that, to have them to stay.
To keep them there, yeah.
called a beer.
Sell them
Or-
beer.
Maybe we should do that here.
Yeah, we should do that, yeah. Well, it will be I thought you meant price increase. It's gonna show in September. Okay, also, new summer hours. The town hall, as you all know, is changing their hours for the summer, so just Tuesdays, instead of 6:30, we'll close at 5 o'clock. It will cut Commons, just so that you know. We expect it to be temporary. We'll see how it works out. Always room for if there's a special event or something we need to do. I mean, absolutely during community service, community suppers, we'd be open later. But if there's a special event, we'll
But
do
it's
that.
5 o'clock on Tuesdays. What is it the rest of the time? 4 o'clock? Okay,
Except for Fridays, which is 12:30.
okay.
Are they ever open on the evening? Over across the street?
As far as I know, they are not. They open at 8 though. We open at 8, but now they're open at 8. Before I think it was 8:30.
Okay.
Okay, we did send off the application for accreditation, so keep our fingers crossed. I'm still that somebody who will not be named right in this almost room. I still need somebody's return forms. But we don't want to single anybody out.
You know who you are.
Your brother speaking.
He's probably not paying attention to us anyway.
Yeah.
So we'll see. And
Cup of coffee.
So the plan, so what we do is we send it in and a peer reviewer will look at the application, make sure everything that they asked for was submitted, and then they'll make arrangements and schedule some time for the person to come out. That will be on our dime to keep them here in Cohasset for, I believe it's an overnight, but it could be up to 2 nights, so that they can come in, they can walk through the center, they can ask questions, and hopefully you'll all be here because they'd like to see people in the center and they want to walk around and ask people questions, you know, kind of spur of the moment, and especially the board, since you were all part of the committees. So thank you all for your work towards that. But
Now, do they, do we know when this is going to be? It's going to be.
we
the
don't know.
summer?
We
Oh.
think it's, I'm hoping it's going to be September.
Mhm.
They said it really depends on the schedule of the peer reviewer. They try to get somebody who's out of state because they don't want anybody too local, but
Oh.
not too far away. So I'm thinking Connecticut, New Hampshire, New York, some maybe, I don't know, but that's what we do. Before we go on to the next thing, this morning I did check my email and we did get the new van.
Oh, what's that?
Excellent, excellent.
Yes, that is great news.
Awesome.
6 years?
Yeah, so that's, it was delayed because of the cost of the vehicles, which is what the state said. So then they had to kind of calculate. So the only thing that's going to change is we have to match it with $21,200 in local funds, which we can do because they did approve 66,000
Oh, wow.
at the town meeting did.
Yeah.
So we'll be able to cover that.
And the
without a
state
problem.
covers the rest of it? Wow.
Wow.
Nice.
Really wonderful for the, 21,200.
Well, it'd be nice if we could swipe some of that leftover 60 for the pergola.
There you
Oh,
go.
that's a great
So
idea.
I'm wondering about that.
Put it on
And-
wheels.
And does any, Paul, do you know if we can, I know that, and I have yet to speak with him, but now that Bob Sylvia has been driving the vans, he has not said it to me. He's been saying it to Liza about ideas about how best to, like, maybe we need to retrofit the vans because it's hard when people have to duck in to get in. We thought we made enough changes now I'm talking about the 2019 vans. So we did make some changes to those vans already a couple of years ago because we noticed they really weren't senior friendly. But I guess he has some more thoughts about that we should be changing it even further. And I'm wondering if we can use some of this remainder of the $66,000 because it is still for vans, even though it's not for one particular van. I didn't know the answer. Paul, do you know, or anybody else know if we can use
Well,
those?
we would just have to do a write-up and go in front of the capital budget committee. So when we go in front of capital budget, we could just say, listen, we're awarded the grant for this van. We need 21,000. We allocated a total of 60,000 from the town for a van. And we'd like to use, whatever the amount is, 8 or 10,000 or 15,000 for retrofitting the existing vans to meet the requirements that we have in front of us, and just kind of present it that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And the new van, that's going to be set up higher then so that we can
Yeah,
accommodate that?
it's going to be set up higher because we'll have the wheelchair lift and it
Oh, wow.
will be, yeah,
Good.
a lot higher for people to get in and out. And that's why they all love the wheelchair van because that's the height of it is what they like to get in and out of. Okay. And lastly, I just want to mention some upcoming events, the Father's Day Cookout. I hope you're all going to plan to be there, June 21st, sponsored by the Cohasset Police Association. They do that every year, except for the couple of years during the pandemic. So they love to do it, and we know the seniors love to have them making and serving the food. So that's 12 o'clock on the 21st. And I just wanted to mention, we do have Diane Leonard. She is a very well-known artist, and she's going to be giving the seniors a 2-day workshop on Impressionist painting. So if you are a budding artist or even a little artistic and you want to join in, there's only 2 spots left, so please.
How did we get her?
She came to us,
Really?
that she would like to do this for her community. It's so wonderful. We're so lucky to have people who do that. Yeah. And I wanted to know, so we did have 361 individuals serviced at Wilcott Commons in May, which resulted in 1,230 participants in and out of here. 57 riders for shopping, medical appointments, coming to Wilcott Commons, errands, etc., which resulted in 307 trips.
How does the medical appointments jibe with the Shine program? Isn't that what they're designed for? Is that what it's
Say-
called, Shine?
No,
Shine is
no.
insurance.
All right,
Shine's medical insurance.
what's the,
Fish is
Fish.
the, you know,
yeah, don't they do medical?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, we have volunteer, fish
I mean,
drivers
is that
are
this
volunteer.
number? Is
Yeah,
that
that's
fish?
included in that
Okay,
as
I
well.
got you.
Yeah. So we have the fish, the medical rides go by either Fish or usually Fred Huntwork, our driver, will drive the electric vehicle. So
Okay.
we have the both. Any other questions for me?
No, but I have a date, July 29th, which is a Friday, I think. I'm gonna need the parking lot.
Oh, okay.
We're having a junior triathlon.
Oh, very nice.
Okay, so you need the whole, at what time does that start? Early in the morning?
We need it first thing in the morning.
So we need to tell everybody to park
Yep.
over across the street.
And it'll be Friday and Saturday, but you're not here Saturday, so it
That
doesn't
one,
matter.
okay,
Yeah,
so-
so just, which is great.
Okay, as long as, yeah, the building will still be open. We do have the only ones that might affect is my knitters who are not like the Zumba people could dance across, right, from one parking lot to another. But we'll get the van, we can transport them, so that's.
Yeah,
no problem.
okay.
Okay,
And I'll give you more information
yeah,
as I have it.
okay,
Bill Burnett's running it, so it's going to be, well, I think last time we had a pile of children. I think we're going to have a pile of children again.
okay.
What ages will it include?
It goes up to, I believe it goes up to age, it's either 12 or 14.
Good.
I think it's 12, to be honest. Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah, but it's fun. Yeah.
So are you a participant as well as?
Yeah,
No?
No. No. We do have our solar heat's being turned on today, so.
Oh, my gosh,
So we're
exciting.
hoping, yeah, it's really complicated because we have new pumps and the pumps have to line up with, what everything else is doing, so. So normally we open Thursday, but we're giving ourselves a little break, so it's gonna be like the middle of the week afterwards.
Oh, okay.
Just
And
so we're
warm up the
sure,
pool a little bit.
yeah,
too,
just to
yeah.
make sure
Everything's
everything's
working.
working okay, and it will warm it up. So we'll have it warmed up, yeah. So it's exciting. It's very different, we put all new doors and windows. And for the years, the guides have complained that they never have any place to literally blow their nose, and just sit. And one of the fellows that came up suggested that we put mirror glass in front of the office. so that the kids people can't see in. They can go in and wash their face and do what they have to do. And I went up and looked at it the other day. It's fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating. So when you look at it, it's like looking at a mirror. But they're inside and they can see everything outside. Yeah,
It's a great idea.
pretty cool. Yeah.
Before we go on, can we accept last month's,
Yeah.
Sure.
right? Did you miss that?
Yeah, we didn't do that.
Last month's minutes.
Yeah.
Right, oh, yeah.
Thank you.
I'm good. Accepted.
I'm good. Thank you, Rich.
I don't want to do that again.
Now we have
Attention.
Elaine.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I thought I had seen that we were doing director first, not that it matters, but anyway, it's always more important. Okay, so I just have to have them on your email, but we had a typical month. General fund was a little over 25,000, which is our average, and we have 50,000 left to finish the last month of the year for fiscal 2023. So we're more than covered.
Oh, good.
And then that overage is primarily within the van driver account. So we'll be good. Under grants,
Oh, excuse me. Are we going to spend all of that?
no,
So
probably not.
is that a mistake?
No, it's the van driver account. It's consistently been between 7, 10, 15,000 over. And he knows that, and he cut us back this year. But that's where we fall into the overage. It's kind of like I think he uses it as the cushion.
Little buffer.
Okay.
Within operating, we'll be pretty much on, I believe. It's all within that personnel. The personnel is over 90% of our budget anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we're gonna be good. The grants, when we talked about that, within the formula grant, we have that 25,000 in the balance of the formula grant between the carryovers in the current year unspent money. So there's quite a bit of money in that formula grant fund to go forward. The total balance I have is 32,665 between opera and formula. Of that,
We'll have to look at that together because I talked, the accountant gave me a figure. I asked her the balance and I thought it was more like a formula grant was only like 8,000 or 9,000. That was last month. And now I just got Nettie's invoice, which was about, I think she's at 7,000.
yep. Was she including though that carryover from last year? We have a carryover of over 13,000 from last year. I think that's the difference, probably. Yeah. In revolving fund, when that came up about, well, are we covering our costs? Well, we're showing a positive of $3,747 for the year. Last year, we did have a negative, but there was a reason for that. A lot of different things happened that we could account for. So I think that 3,700 is kind of where we're going. Exercise probably funds most of that because of the volume in exercise. But we've got 21,000 almost in the revolving fund account. So we certainly can afford to pay people who are paying out of pocket.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I never want anybody to
Right.
not pay for that.
And then gifts, 60,000 sitting in that gift account, which a lot of it is restricted, but the unrestricted part is 33,000. So there's quite a bit of money there to go towards the pergola, if that's how we want to
I
do
was
it.
gonna say, that sounds like a big chunk of money for the pergola.
Yeah, I think it will be expensive. It'll be interesting to see what those prices come in at.
Well, I think we should spend everything we've got.
There's a reason we have 33 in here. Right. Yeah, I think it would be good use too. Let's see what they come in at. And then the van is 66,000 that they allocated for us on that replacement. So we spent a 21, there's
Right.
the money there.
Well, that's a little more difficult, I think, but I can't get over the state pumping in all that money. That's great for the van. And do we have an idea what the van's gonna cost?
well, Eleanor probably looked at them more
About
recently, but
90,000.
I think it was about back, yeah, 90,000, yeah, that's what I was.
okay.
Yeah, it's about
With all
90.
with all the
90 or-
modifications.
Is that Paul?
The band's about 90 or 100,000 because we're paying 25% deposit. So our deposit's 21,000.
And they're paying 75%, we're paying 20, or a little more than 20, which is what the change is.
But that, when we get it, it's gonna be ready to roll, right? All the modifications will be in there.
Yes, I don't know quite how it works. They did say we'll send you more paperwork about the next steps for that. So I'm not quite sure if we have, how we do it, if we pick something out and then we pick out a van and then it gets added the way we want it before we get picked up, or we get it just already fitted. Not sure how that
If
works.
we have to pay for an additional retrofit, which is probably reasonable, can that come out of the 66 grand too?
Oh, yes, I believe so, but I don't think that's what, I think it would, the 21,000 includes the retrofit, my understanding.
Oh,
Is that
okay.
what you understand as well, Paul?
Right. So out of the 60,000 that the town allocated for the purchase of a van, we need to include, once you get the van, then, we have the name painted on it. We have radios put in it. And then we assessed if there's any additional, rails or guards that have to be put in it. We had a third-party provider that did the other two vans where we bought them from Janelle Ford through the process, and then we had to send them out to have them retrofitted. And then they came back, then we had to put radios in, and then we had to put the Cohasset name on it.
What's the purpose of the radios?
Emergency.
Because with the
the
cell
rest of the
coverage too,
town.
we don't want people relying on their cell phone if there's an emergency. So we have that in the van.
There was a radio in this van. I don't know if it even works, does it?
Yeah, they check them
It
periodically.
does work. Oh, okay. I've never seen anybody
Use
use
it.
it or anything.
Every once in a while, it will make us all jump because we'll hear static and then, hello, man to base. I'm like, oh, it works.
Where am I?
Yes, Paul?
No, that's good that you don't hear from anybody.
Yeah,
But that might come from emergency management funding as well. I don't know. We'd have to check with Glenn.
And the wheelchair lift is included in that?
Yes.
Okay.
So what is the amount in our regular gift accounts?
Well, in total, 60,285, but of the unrestricted, it's 33,459. Everything else is restricted, for the social worker and transportation. I mean, we've got 6 different accounts.
Yeah, we should have 4 accounts.
Now we have 6.
That's all it did before. So I'm just thinking that because, with the pergola build, if we can try and figure out where else to get money from, and then we had talked about awnings for the bocce court area as well. So
Ooh, perk up.
You got Richard's attention.
Rich is cooking here.
When I brought that up to facilities, I said, it's a smaller one. I'm thinking of on the other side, and then you don't have to do the pop-up tents. And again, they were like,
No.
why not just do the pop-up tents? They're much easier. They're less expensive. We'll just, if it breaks, we can buy a new one, not like the awning. If it breaks, it's a big cost. So I didn't want to bring it up because I knew how exciting somebody would be in this.
We got plenty of cash.
we
That
didn't
goes well with the air conditioning out there too.
Yeah.
we didn't want to dilute the attention on the pergola because the pergola is the priority.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we do want to get that going because we can use the portable tents for bocce for now. So
They're fine.
yeah, get the pergola built. And else we could get funding from before we attack the gift account.
okay.
Questions, comments, anything further?
Nope,
Can we accept that?
I move to accept that.
I second.
Thank you. Thank you. Do you have next week?
I do. Yeah.
Okay. Now the exciting thing happens. We have to elect a new chair today. And we have, last month, Rich Hines' name was put in nomination. Are there any other, no, I'm going to turn it over to
Okay.
you to go ahead.
All right, well, as our tradition here, we'll have our second nomination today, second round of nominations and an election. Before I ask for nominations, are we, secretary and treasurer, you're still planning to stay, correct? Terrific, terrific, okay. Well, then I'll ask for nominations 3 times for chair, and then we'll close nominations and move to elections. So for chair of CEA Board of Directors, do we have any other nominations? Any other nominations for chair? And finally, any other nominations for chair? Hearing none, I'll close nominations. And since I'm the only one running apparently, I'll ask the secretary to cast 1 vote in favor of myself as chair.
And that I do.
Okay. Then I guess that's done.
Heavy
Right,
hangs
with
the head that
you.
wears the crown.
Well, this will be my first shot, so I'll appreciate on Tana and Paul to school me as what needs to be done.
We'll have coffee one day.
Okay.
Or red wine, one or the other.
Yeah.
Now we're
Or beer.
talking.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay. I just have a few comments. I've been with the board, I think it was 10 years before I took on the chairmanship, which is 3 years, most of it being COVID.
Right.
And been involved in the building committee, and my husband was involved in that years. And it's really exciting to see how it happened. It's like sausage, you don't want to know how it's made, but, and that's due almost 100% in the efforts of Nancy and her crew. They are wonderful. And when I came in, we were doing some things, and then COVID came, and all of them had to completely, they did a 180 in what they were doing. I mean, and they did it smoothly and without angst and without hysteria, and it just happened. And I want to thank you for that. That was just wonderful, the way you managed your staff and the way everything happened. And it's just been great. I would like to see in the future, the pergola, more activities during the day for, segmented populations. That's my feeling. And just keep doing what you're doing. To me, it's been remarkable, and I want to thank Nancy.
What do you mean by segregated populations?
Well, because you might have some people who don't want to do this, and they have, I mean, people who want just special things to do. We might be able to increase the programs for those. Like, I don't mean segregated racially or anything.
Well, that's what I wanted to know what you're talking about.
No.
But
no.
not age-wise, you're just
No.
talking activity-wise.
Activities and
Okay.
things like that. Now I have, I do mahjong. If I ever get back there, on Tuesdays, and I love it. And I think there might be other groups in town who might want to do some other things that maybe we could corral in the future and move on with them and make this place bustle, even at 3:00 in the afternoon.
Well, and absolutely, I've just made a comment on that, and that's exactly what we want. We'd love to make it a place like, for instance, someone came up to us, I think I mentioned the month before last, she has an online group about living with cancer. So I know you mean other kind of activities, but just for her, that was very important. And there may be other people out there in the community. We all know they're struggling with cancer, so maybe they wanted to have a discussion or a talk or something like that. So we're willing to open it up to people anytime. It's hard to say, oh, we're going to do like we now have the knitting group back again. So as long as we can get some people who we know are going to come in, and then we can try to increase the participation. And that's what we need you guys to kind of float us some ideas and get some people in the doors that might want to do some of these other marginalized I know that my ideas for the future are more like trying to, there's more people out there. There's people raising grandchildren. I still want to start a grandparent support group. There's a segment of the population that we're not aware of and maybe they need, but it's, LGBTQ individuals. We may need that kind of conversations and welcoming center for people who are marginalized. So that's the direction I'm thinking of. But if there's other areas that you guys have, like more like a mahjong, another group, or whist. Somebody came in the other day and said, do you play, I forget, I know one of the card games, it's like a whist. I said, we don't have a group, but if you've got a couple players, we'd love to have you here and we'll offer it to more people. So, and certainly do it later in the afternoon. We're already thinking about doing maybe another, that yoga class is so popular, Tuesday mornings.
Is there anybody that's designated specifically to contact? Like somebody has an idea about something they want to do. Is there somebody they specifically should contact?
Diane,
Diane.
yes, they should contact Diane if they have an idea.
Oh, Diane, okay,
Yeah, she set up the bocce. She was terrific.
Yeah, she was wonderful.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, so, and that's the thing, we work
Does
so
all the
well
bus
together and she does all the trips, the programming and that kind of thing, so.
Well, I was interested in what Marshfield does. Apparently they have a woodworking program.
Very popular.
Yeah, which is very popular. I just don't know how we would do it here because of cleanup. It's, I think they've got a room that's dedicated to that. So there's sawdust all over the place and what have you. It's something we couldn't do. So I just,
Have you gone down and
back
seen
in my
it?
mind. No, I haven't. I've just heard about it.
This could be.
Really?
It is a specific room. The guys do a fabulous job with it. Things like, they do birds that are amazing. I just, in their hand carved and,
Yeah,
yeah.
that sounds like it wouldn't be hard to self-administer, the people that are doing it
Right,
could
clean up.
just sweep up after they're done and it's
I
not
should get
a,
down and look at it really, because
Yeah,
I've
you
heard
really
about it.
should because, and it's not all men, which is interesting. But most of it's men, but they do all kinds of woodworking and they have a big crowd that,
How big is the room they use?
they have a pretty good sized room.
And do they leave it set up all the time or they have to?
Yeah,
clean
they
it?
do have a room.
That's
Yeah,
designated.
yeah,
I think that would be the key. It would have to be a designated space.
yeah.
Maybe upstairs.
That's what I'm
In the back.
wondering.
Yeah,
could
that
do it on
L,
the bocce court.
the L, the L, the end,
On the end, yep.
maybe.
You
With a
could do it
sink,
on
you
the
need a sink and
You need
stuff.
special like
stuff.
ventilation.
Well, usually if you present something like that, you'll usually get a person that knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
And
Knows what's needed.
yeah, knows what's needed, I think. Or you could ask them.
Yeah, let me get on.
Marshfield and
Talk
ask.
to some people. But I think that's the key, is having a designated space to do it.
Are you a
Yeah.
woodworker?
No, I'd like to be.
Yeah, wouldn't it be fun though?
I'd like to be. yeah.
That's fun.
Wouldn't it?
Another thing that,
I've tried various. instruments and that
Wood,
doesn't
wood.
work. So,
Al Buckley was one of the ones that used to do birds. That was amazing. Yeah.
Steve Hill does, well, I don't know if he still does them, but he did them, he sold them. I mean,
Yeah.
by popular request.
Yeah,
He's-
yeah,
It was good.
yeah.
Wait, where was I? I was gonna say
Now
something.
the part is done.
I would like to see, and I know it's become popular a little bit west of Boston and a lot of other areas. I've seen it on TV. Music group. I think I mentioned that once
Chorus,
before.
yeah.
A chorus,
Yeah.
which would be a lot of fun. But the problem is, you have to find somebody to lead it
Mhm.
and dedicated enough. But it's that kind of thing that I think might draw in
Of course.
some other
Could
populations.
definitely, and you could definitely use the Rusty Scuppers and see who they have in there that has something to do with singing and choral.
Yeah.
And we also have the South Shore music, which is fabulous. During COVID, we took our little music lessons from them.
Oh, right, the conservatory.
Yeah, the conservatory was
Yeah.
fabulous.
I would love to have a music, somebody.
That would be
music.
fun.
That would be a fun thing. Would be fun to hear too, even if you're in
Yes.
another part of
Yeah.
the building, hear somebody singing and then putting on concerts for us, so.
Because a lot of people in town sing for the churches, and so you've got people that,
Last year, I think that the senior center in Hingham that does have a women's choral group said that their numbers were dwindling and could we please help get some new members. So we did put it out there for them in our newsletter to say, oh, if you're interested in singing, please joined that group. I don't know how many they got from that, but it was because it was dwindling. So if that, which had been going on for many years, I don't know the answer, but I would love to try something like that if we
I'm
had
just
at least a few people.
throwing things
Things out
out. I'm
there,
not,
yeah.
yeah, just things in the
But
future.
I think that's good to keep bringing up ideas and see what finally clicks here. and there.
Yeah.
You haven't had any requests from any of the people that use the center? You said there was some people want to play a new card game.
A new card game, a lot of them want Pilates for a second day. A lot of them want yoga for a second day. So it's more like that we're hearing instead of like a brand new, the latest was the cancer support group. So,
Huh.
Yeah, which I think is great.
Well, we had one support group. I don't know if it's still running. I think it was for people who were taking care of cancer
Ca-
people.
caregivers.
Caregivers, yeah. Is that
We
still
had,
going on?
well, we don't have the caregiver support group. Diane is actually, she's going through a training, which is for caregivers, so she can do, it's a 6-week, it's train the trainer, so she has to learn how to facilitate it, and it will be a caregiver support, savvy caregivers or something. So that would be something good, but I believe it's like an 8-week workshop or program, kind of like what we did years ago, which was the powerful tools for caregivers. So a workshop that you train your caregivers how to deal with different things going on. And that's what she's going to be doing, is that caregiver support group. But then it will end, and then she'll start a new group with new individuals. But we have Norwell visiting nurses, Situate, there's caregiver support groups, and you don't want to have too many of the same thing that people are not going to come because they're like, oh, I'm going to
Yeah.
this one, and they
Yeah.
don't need another one. So we're trying to find our niche, and maybe it's the savvy caregiver group that is going to be short term for people who can come learn some tools and then use them. But we did try an early dementia support group for the person who was dealing with dementia, early stage. And we got a couple of people, but it was not enough to sustain a group. So we're always looking for something, but we don't want to oversaturate the market either.
It sounds very ambitious and it's great. So I want to thank Nancy and her crew
Thank you.
specifically. I think, I don't know if I scared them away or what it was, but I feel the relationship with Town Hall has gotten a little bit better. I don't know. Finally making ourselves understood that this is our place and this is for our activities. And that's, the next thing I wanted to talk about was comments from the board about public feedback. Your feedback about the whole bit. When you're out in the community, what do you hear? Anything?
I think there is, what's grown is a really nice thing, which is a dependency upon Wilcott.
Good.
In that people will say, well, you know what, if you don't know, why don't you go down and ask? Or give a call and see if they service this, or that type of thing.
That's wonderful.
and-
That's exactly what we want. Just ask us if we can't do it, or we usually can direct you. So that's
Yeah. So I would say,
feedback.
that's one of the biggest, nicest things is that, and especially because of COVID, I think so many people, myself included, if you wanted something, you knew you could come here and get it. And I think that's important that people, or also where you work with the emergency services, when the lights go out, people know there's a warming center here. They know they can charge their phones here. They don't have to wander around trying to figure out where to go. They know they can do it. So, yeah, I think it's grown.
Communication, I think.
Communication
is-
has,
is
yeah,
key.
yeah. And I think personally that we've done very well to create this village type of area here. We've got the Little League fields here, which are doing tremendously well. The pool is here, Wilcott is here, the recreation department is there, the library is right there. Literally, I drive around and look at towns. You don't have that in most towns. Most towns do not have that, so that you could literally take a ride down to Wilcott, and if you wanted to go to the library, you could do it. Music Circus is running in the summertime. and that was what's the striving, driving thing when we were building this building. It was Glenn Pratt and I would sit here and go, that's the idea, is to have
People
everything.
right in the same area.
Yeah, and I think they've grown to feel that way, which is really nice. Nice.
Rich, how about you?
Rich?
Jim?
Jim,
Oh,
you're Rich.
Yeah.
do we have a plan for another community dinner?
Not to my knowledge.
No.
At this point, I think we discussed it the last time, that June, policemen are going to do it. And then we hadn't gotten,
We were going to take the summer
Summer
off,
off,
because
yeah.
no
And then
volunteers, and then
probably
do it again in the fall.
September then, probably.
probably September, or October. Yeah.
People enjoy it.
Oh,
It
they
brings a lot of
love it.
people in. It's always sold out.
Yeah.
So that's good. And they're fun. They're fun. People laugh and have fun.
Well, that's it.
Yeah. Anybody else?
On programs, one of the guys that we play bocce with is in the men's group that meet on Thursday, and he said the volume of that has really increased. He's up to like 15 guys now.
Oh,
Wow.
that's a lot.
Yeah, and it's pretty much, whatever you want. It's a wide open agenda. He says the reason people come is because of the coffee cake. So I may visit, I don't know. I've never been there, but that's a program that seems to be taken off on its own, and I don't know why. I don't, since I don't think the center, I don't think you guys do anything particular.
Yeah, besides promote it, we do a lot, and a lot behind the scenes is if somebody, especially if somebody is new, we will really encourage them, or if Diane or Tricia are talking to someone who could use some socialization or to get out of the house, there's a lot of pushing towards activities, events, services around here. So one of the things we constantly say to a new guy in town or somebody who's feeling isolated, the men's group is here, we can get you here. So we do a lot of pushing on our end, but I think a lot of it and most of it is word of mouth with the guys. And David Bigley, who facilitates that, what a perfect person for it. He knows everybody. He's so wonderful and open and welcoming to people. So once they get started and the guys start coming, they never feel like this is like you're the new guy. It's more like welcome. The more the merrier. They talk, they laugh, they are open to. It's just very good group
Well,
of guys.
it's interesting you bring him up because he was the one, I asked him about, very often in different meetings, especially with men, things get aggressive and agitated. And he said that they've corralled that pretty well. And everybody understands, nobody's taking a personal attack because of your opinion. And that's something I think that's bringing people in. And it's an unusual, I'm involved with VFW and American Legion, and I don't see that. There are people come just to fight. And
They do.
Well, the alcohol may have
well,
something.
no alcohol, they're predisposed. And if they don't like you, no matter what you say.
Right,
they're
right.
attack them.
Right.
And something in this meeting seems to have taken that away, which I think is why people come back, because they enjoy being heard and listening to
Right.
different opinions. But
I think
I
that's
was very impressed.
rare these days.
Yeah.
They've
Oh,
fostered that.
Well, he says they stay away from politics as much as they
You
can.
have to.
But occasionally things come up and people, but they don't hold a grudge, which is unusual
Yeah.
in men's meetings, have
Yeah.
my experience. So there's something there.
Yeah. No, the group
And
is
maybe it's
great.
Bigley. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
he's the guy that controls all of that.
Yeah, sets the tone.
Yeah. Last month, we talked about having a board seat open for a non-voting associate member. And I have one that wants to do it,
Oh,
and she's made an application. I don't know what happens next.
did she make the application at town hall?
Yeah.
Well,
So has anybody been contacted from town hall with her application?
I don't know.
It's Marcia Sylvia.
Oh,
Yeah.
great.
So I think she'd be a great addition. I just don't know mechanically what we do to have
You know
that
what?
happen.
Let me go check with Beth and see over at Town Hall.
Okay.
We
I mean, I would think they would,
I'll be happy to do
if
that.
someone made an application, they would send it to one of us. I don't
Yeah.
know why
They should.
that hasn't
Or at least
happened.
or at least tell us that they're putting it on the agenda for the select board to vote
Yeah.
upon.
Why does the
Let me
select
check with
board,
Beth.
we have to vote upon it, don't we? as opposed to the select
thought
board?
they have
We
to-
suggested and
Wait,
then
yeah,
to them, and then they
they
approve.
approve it.
Well, I'd like to do that. Then.
Yeah,
I'd like to,
let me just see if I can figure out where it went.
okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
Because she's very interested and I want to strike while the iron's hot, rather than
Yeah.
have this thing drift on until
Good, and she's
September.
very open-minded
Yeah.
and yeah.
Yeah, hopefully everybody knows it, so.
So a question, Jim Carpenter is no longer on the board.
He's associate, I thought.
Well,
His
I
name
don't
doesn't
know, that's
appear
what
on
I'm-
the,
I think he's
Yeah, what
off.
vacancy were you referring to?
Oh, I don't know. We brought up a vacancy last month, I thought.
We did.
Maybe it was Carpenter, I don't know.
I can't remember.
Yeah, so maybe, from what I understood, Beth, you became a full member and,
Jim
Sarah's-
came down.
Sarah's still the associate and it was,
There we go.
And
Sue Reagan
Sue
went
Reagan.
down to
Associate
associate.
too.
But nobody's heard, I don't think anybody's talked to Jim. So I don't know what
Right.
I think he went down to associate only because that's what everybody
I thought-
decided, but I don't know if he was
I don't,
involved in
he's
that.
not
Oh,
listed on the board.
He's
No,
not
he's
listed
not
though.
listed at
So he
all.
never filled.
Oh,
filled
at
out
town
his-
he
hall.
never renewed
No.
his,
Oh,
his
So he's
thing.
not on the board.
So that would be the third.
No, he wasn't.
Oh, okay. I think that's where I was unaware. All right.
Right, so we have two associates.
Yeah.
So we have two
Sue and
associates,
Sarah.
right? Sue Reagan
And Sarah.
and Sarah.
So if you can see what we do.
Yeah,
about
well,
Marcia,
yeah, I'll check it.
Because like I said, I'd like to get her involved before things drift out too far.
And then she would be an associate? Is
Yes.
that-
Well, I believe we have to open it up if we have, with some
If there's a vacancy.
Notice.
it has to be-
Notice.
inviting people.
public notice, yeah, probably.
Yeah, public notice. I always used to put it in the paper, in the Mariner, that,
That's,
Well, Chris Senior just put
Might
out
as
a
well stand on the
post of
sidewalk.
all the positions.
but I don't think he listed the positions. I think he just.
I
was just
didn't
a
look
general
at it,
call.
yeah.
He just, he mentioned all the departments, but we were one of the departments.
You were,
Oh,
okay,
okay.
there you go.
So I guess, so that piece is
So that's the
completed?
general notice then.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of the general notice.
and then we can, or I was gonna say the PR guy could put it on.
Oh, God, get him out of here.
Oh. I don't know, I'm sorry.
You said that out loud, didn't you? Glenn?
I did, and I don't.
What was that?
Public meeting. Let's move right along.
Delete.
Delete.
You have to watch what you're saying.
So maybe when you check about her application, you can find out if that does satisfy the public
Correct.
notice.
Okay, that's a good thought.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Because I'd like to invite her to the next meeting.
Okay,
you know.
which we don't have until,
But we have one more.
One more in July.
Month off. Yeah, I'd like to invite her to July. But I don't want to invite her unless everybody's in agreement that we want to do this, bring her on.
Yeah.
Oh,
Why not?
I'd be,
all right, let me see what I can find out this
Okay.
week or what else has to happen. And we can go from
Okay.
there.
and also, we have, at town hall, you have to check with them, have any other applications come in, because some people go directly
Right.
Right.
to get an application there, because that's where you get them, and,
Well, you can find that out as well, right?
Yeah.
Right.
If anybody else is. putting
Yeah,
in an
if they have
application.
anything.
Yeah, okay.
Well, that's reasonable, yeah, to see if we have, because I would like to make sure we have some bench strength, some.
Which is good.
people We
Yep.
we can contact when we do have openings.
Yep.
Yeah, I think she'd be good. She seemed very excited about the idea. And I told her, well, you don't vote for a couple of years or until there's a vacancy on the, and she was fine with that. So,
okay, it's been a pleasure. I will be
well,
back.
thank you. You've done a terrific job.
I would
mean,
like
know it
to-
hasn't been easy.
I want to stay, I want to, stay a part of you guys, but not as chairman now. I've got a lot going on. So, thank you very much for the opportunity, and I will be
Yes,
here
thank
next
you.
month.
Thank you, Tina, for your leadership.
Yes, yes.
Okay,
We could,
Rich, hand it over to you, and
Not until July.
don't get to do it right away.
and thank you for stepping up. That's great.
Well, I think we all should take turns, trying to chair the organization.
Yeah.
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 So,
And we should have coffee sometime.
okay. Yeah.
My treat. Yeah.
Oh, whoa, that's even better. Now, with that in mind, is everybody comfortable with the meeting time? Monday, the
Yeah.
second Monday of the month at 9 o'clock, or does
Mhm.
anybody have any interest in changing that?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm flexible.
And it's in the bylaws and all, so I
Yeah.
don't want to mess
Well,
with
we,
that.
no, we can change whatever
I
we
know.
want,
Document.
but as long as everybody's comfortable.
Yeah.
we'll keep it.
Yeah, I sort of have it in my on my calendar, that's in my head. So, okay. When does the pool open for good?
For good, it's going to open, it's not going to make next Sunday. So it's going to be the middle of the week, probably about the 20th.
Good. I hope we have a good
Yeah.
summer.
They just want to make sure, this is after last year. We just
Was that
wanna make
debacle
sure
last year? That was awful.
There is not one thing out of order. And I'm not inviting anybody to come. I won't say who.
Good, yes, don't.
I'm not. But that is, yeah. So it'll be that week. Yeah.
And everybody's looking forward to the community dinners. That was the other thing I wanted to say. I was really glad.
We had a great one this last one.
fun.
That was
Everybody
fun.
was so friendly.
Yeah.
It was really funny, even coming in, collecting money. People were so funny. All right, pay for him if he can't do it. You know, it was really, it was humorous. They were really enjoyed
look
coming
forward to
back
it.
in and, yeah.
And I think too, maybe for next time around, for starting in the fall or whatever, we pick the dates way in advance, so we know, and we'll put it on the calendar and people know to look forward to it, instead of like, we don't know until we decide, you know. I think that sometimes is hard for people if you don't have a set schedule, like, oh, I can't make this one, but I know next time it's, you know, on the 18th of the following month
Yeah.
or whatever.
Well, with the new town hours, do we focus still on Tuesday nights or is it any time? For something
Well,
like
if
that.
we're still open till 5, I'd prefer to keep it on Tuesday nights,
Okay.
only because the
Right.
staff it's still here, instead of, if we did it another night of the week, it would have been, it's too
All
disjointed.
right, so keep it Tuesdays, all right.
But you guys, well, I know that Tana, you were kind of facilitating that. Will you still be involved in that, or who's going to kind of head up the group?
That's which, yeah, I'd like to be.
Make an appointment.
Here we go.
To have maintain that responsibility.
Okay.
Did you
Is-
accept?
Is it accepted? Yeah.
Wait a minute.
That's a good sign.
We'll talk about it. Okay.
It was.
We'll talk. Okay, so I'm finished, guys, and thank you very much. And see you next month.
Awesome.
All in
I
favor?
move
Motion to
adjourn.
adjourn?
Yep,
Motion.
motion second.
Okay,
No.
Right.
next month.